Hi, it's Crystal with Mrs. Bipedal, and a few people have asked me to make a video on my diet and fitness during pregnancy. So I'm going to make two videos, and this first one is going to be on my diet, and the second one is going to be on fitness. So the first thing I'll get into as far as diet is my kind of diet philosophy. And this goes for when I'm not pregnant as well. And that is just a focus on what I like to call real food. Basically, real whole food. Food that you know where it comes from and how it's made, preferably because you're making it yourself. And um, local, local vegetables, fruit, and meat products as much as possible. Basically, food that people who were making, a couple hundred years ago. That seems to be what is best for my body as far as health-wise. I've done, over the last 8 or so years, I have followed many different kind of fitness and diet trends, including non-fat, low-fat, sugar-free, really super low carb, kind of Atkins types diets, and I've really come back full circle to pretty much the way I was raised, and that's just on good, homemade, whole, and real food. I have eliminated all, basically all non-fat, low-fat, sugar-free, artificial preservatives, all that type of stuff. I just don't find that there's a benefit to my body at all. I'm, usually at a healthier weight when I'm following eating real food as opposed to the sugar-free or non-fat things. So that is basically my philosophy. The more, back to just the basics when it comes to food. Okay, and another thing I should add to that is when it comes to real food, I also am a big component of grass-fed beef, free-range organic eggs, and dairy. My parents have a small little hobby farm, nothing that ever has made them money. Basically, everything we've ever produced on the farm has just been for our family. So that is the source I use for my grass-fed beef. Eggs come from my parents' place, and we no longer have a dairy cow, but we used to have dairy. So I grew up drinking raw, unpasteurized, unhomogenized milk. So I'm a big component and believer of raw dairy products. Most people are a little freaked out by that, and especially when you're pregnant. But if you know the source, I really think it's very beneficial health-wise if you can tolerate dairy. And I have experimented different parts of my life as far as I've done, vegan, vegetarian, and my body performs better with animal products. But that's an individual choice that you have to make. But that's what my body responds best to, is to have some meat and dairy in my diet. Alright, so as far as when I'm pregnant, I do not change very much at all. So this is kind of my overall diet just on a normal basis. However, I think when you are pregnant, it's a really good time to focus on eating really good food and not eating for two and having a bunch of junk food. I mean, you're creating another life, and they're drawing everything they need from you. So it's important to fuel your body with the best things possible to give that baby the best start. So, but other than that, I don't count calories to make sure I'm having, exactly 300 more calories or whatever a day. I pretty much focus on the same type of foods I've been eating before. I'm a little more lax. I usually kind of go on the philosophy of 80-20 or 90-10 policy, which is basically means like 80 or 90% of the time I eat really clean, healthy food, and the rest of the time is when I'll have, splurge. Most people know that follow me know that I love to bake and things like that. So that's where the 20 or the 10 would come in, is when we're having, when I'll make cupcakes or things like that. That's when I have more of my little splurges, or go out to dinner. But we really don't eat out very much, just because honestly in my area I make a lot better food than most of the food we can find out anyway. So other than that, I usually eat 3 meals a day with 2 snacks, and that seems to be best for my metabolism. The snacks I try to keep around the 100 to 150 calorie mark, and I've know enough about food where I don't count things anymore. I just kind of know what kind of portion size that means and what type of food that means. I also am a big believer of to give your metabolism off to the best start, is that you need to eat breakfast as early as possible. And I know a lot of people have a hard time with that, but it really is something that you can train your body into doing. But if you can eat breakfast within the first 30 minutes to an hour of getting up, it's going to be better for your metabolism. And that definitely helps during pregnancy as well. Oftentimes you'll wake up starving when you're pregnant anyway. And then another rule I have is to stop eating after dinner, basically. So no more food, kitchen closed type of thing after dinner. Usually at that point, you've already consumed enough calories that you need, and you're probably looking in the cupboard just because you're bored, or just having a craving that you really don't need to satisfy. So if I'm feeling like that, I'll often try to curb that by just having a glass of tea or a cup of tea at night, and that seems to be a good option for maintaining the do not eat after dinner rule. And that really does a huge part for your metabolism, as far as burning off the food that you've consumed during the day, and just keeping you from eating additional calories that you don't need. Then I'll get on to kind of recommended food choices. I have a fit and healthy pregnancy guide that I loosely follow during pregnancy, and I can provide the link to that. But kind of already talked about some of these, but my really recommended food choices during pregnancy and not are grass-fed meats, organic fruits and vegetables, full-fat dairy, raw if you can trust the source, coconut oil, coconut milk, unsalted raw nuts and nut butters, Celtic sea salt, store-bought sprouted or sourdough breads, soaked oats, homemade salad dressings. It's a good start to do. And then eggs from cage-free or pasture-fed chickens. So those are really, if you follow eating them, so you can make obviously huge variety of foods using this type of list. But it's really a ultimate goal of providing really good nutrition for you and your baby during pregnancy. The sea salt is good to have, especially if you're like me and tend to have low blood pressure. So I salt my food as much as possible. Not as much as possible, as much as I like, just because I'm not eating processed food, so the sodium is not high anyway, so I can basically have as much salt on my food as I want. Soaked oats, and that's just grains that you soak. There's different methods to do it. It's usually they're more easily digested that way. And let's see, fruits and vegetables are given. Organic when you can and when it's necessary. Not all vegetables are beneficial getting organic. But if you're like me, vegetables are probably the hardest thing during pregnancy. I just tend not to, I guess I almost tend to have a aversion to vegetables sometimes. And if I do have them, I only seem to want them really during dinner. And that's only one serving, and that's not enough. So, vegetables can be a challenge for me to get in. Let's see. And I should probably talk about, on a regular basis, when I'm not pregnant, I follow a pretty low GI, glycemic index diet, because that's just the way my body responds better. If I eat too much carbs, it really just is all stored as fat. So I try to eat pretty low GI, but during pregnancy, I'm a little more lax. So for example, during lunch, non-pregnant, I most likely would not have a sandwich, because that's 2 whole pieces of bread, a lot of carbs. But during pregnancy, I would go ahead and let myself have the bread. I have very little pastas and breads non-pregnancy, but I bring them back in when I am pregnant, and it's a little treat. It's still healthy. I'm still focusing on whole grains and high quality ingredients, but it's a little bit more of a splurge that you can enjoy when you're pregnant. I also let myself have little treats like hot chocolate. You're not drinking during pregnancy. If you can, you're not drinking any types of sodas or thing like that. So I'll let myself have hot chocolate, every once in a while with full fat milk, and I don't feel bad about that at all. So let's see. That's about it. I do take some supplements, just because even when you're eating healthy and clean, it's still hard to get or to know that you're getting all the nutrients you need. A lot of times that's a lot of food that you need to get in to get everything that you really need during pregnancy. So the supplements I take are a prenatal. I try to take cod liver oil, vitamin D, and probiotics. Probiotics, I was group B strep positive with Elise, and so I'm really focusing on probiotics this time to hopefully test negative for that, but it's not really a big deal if I am. But so hopefully upping my probiotics, especially through the last weeks of pregnancy, may kill off the group B in my system. Let's see, so that goes for supplements. And basically, I'll touch upon weight, but weight is such a personal and individual thing during pregnancy that it has so many factors as far as what your starting weight was and what you're eating and what your fitness style is and what your body is doing and how you respond to pregnancy. I'm fortunate enough to experience very minimal, if you can even call it morning sickness, barely at all. So I don't tend to lose a bunch of weight at the beginning of the pregnancy like some people do, but sometimes I do have different food aversions at the beginning, or I will feel a little more nauseous when my stomach's empty. So maybe at the beginning of pregnancy, maybe I do have to have a snack after after dinner, or I'm just not going to feel very good. So, you know, things like that happen. But as far as, you know, my body type, as far as my BMI and things like that, really a healthy range for me is 20 to 30 pounds. I stayed right around, I think I gained about 22 pounds with Elise, with my first pregnancy. I'm at 30 weeks now, I'm at about, I think I'm around 17 pounds weight gain with this baby, and so I'll probably be, you know, 20, 25 pounds most likely with this baby. And basically, you know, you want to keep an eye on your weight, but you don't want to, obsess over it. And as long as you're keeping active and you know that you're putting good food into your body, there's not much you can do. There's so many different variables as far as how much water weight and all sorts of things your body is doing differently too. So weight is just something, just a number. So basically all you can control is your activity level and the food that you provide your body. And you just kind of have to hopefully trust your body to do the rest and gain the amount of weight it needs to gain. And the last thing I'll get into is following a good diet really does help with, a myriad of pregnancy complaints and symptoms that people have. If you follow a good diet, your energy level is going to be better. Obviously, I've never had an issue with constipation or anything like that during pregnancy, and I really attribute that to a good diet and drinking enough water and having enough fiber and vegetables. And so, there's a lot more benefit than just trying to keep, excess weight off. You're really providing the best nutrients for yourself and your baby and keeping yourself as healthy as possible during a very important part of your life. So I hope this is helpful. Again, this is what I do. I'm not even necessarily recommending this for anybody, but hopefully that helps seeing what I do. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll post the link to that fit and healthy pregnancy guide that I loosely follow during pregnancy. Alright, hope you join me for my fitness video, and I'll talk to you guys later.